Hello everyone, so welcome to card number 3. Starting off, I use my Martha Stewart scoreboard and I just score my cardstock right down the center, and I use my bone folder just to make sure I flatten that out. Next, I'm going to be using the Valentine and Cupid specialty papers, and this is from King Company last year and I believe the year before that. I'm going to take my scallop heart and run it through my cuddle bug, and this paper is just so cute. Next, I'm going to take that same exact die and I'm running it through some acetate, and this takes a few times of going back and forth just because it's acetate and it does take a while to cut through. Next, I'm taking some glitzy cardstock and now I'm using my classic Spellbinders hearts, and these again you have to run through a few times just because it's a little bit thicker of the cardstock, and then as you see it pops out right away. And then I take my classic again, I know, back and forth, and I want to line this up perfectly and then cut it out so this makes the frame for my shaker card. Now I popped the frame out, and after I was done with that, I put some ATG on the back of it, and now I'm carefully lining this up. Just so I could see it much better, I did leave the backing on the acetate, and I'm just carefully making sure that this is not off center at all. And then once it's done, I just go ahead and finish pressing that in, and then I remove the acetate from the back, and I use it to lay it down just because I didn't want the acetate to be scratched. Now I'm taking some of my 3M, and this is the scotch tape, the foam tape, sorry, and I'm just now going to adhere that to the back and make my little part for my shaker, and I'm going to speed it up just because this is a long process. And so now it's time to add the goodies. So I picked these up a few years ago from Michael's, and I believe that they were called like Crafter's Corner, and they had, I believe, 8 different mixtures in them, and so this one's for hearts, so I decided to use those, and I just poured in a few. And now I'm just going to add on the backing, and I just make sure I line it up and press it down into place. Off camera, I had experimented and played with this, and I made this little banner just going back and forth, and then I took my scissors and I just made the banner into little dovetails on each end. And then I thought, you know what would be really neat is if I embossed Happy Valentine's Day on it. So because I don't have separate stamps to do this, I can't cut my stamps. So I use my Versamark and I use my embossing buddy, obviously, and then I take this and I just use some tape, and then the parts that don't need to be inked, I block it, and when I go to stamp it, I just remove that part that I blocked. So I do this and I add in some of the embossing powder by Recollections, and I do this all 3 different times, but I figured this time I would open the banner up just because closing it made it a little bit harder. So once again, I'm going to mark it up with the VersaFine, take off the extra tape, and then I'm going to stamp it out and heat set it. So I'm going to speed up the last section because obviously you don't need to see it every time it's done, and then I'll be back in a moment. So now I'm starting to put my card base together. So I use this paper and it's just so pretty with all the hearts in it. And then I'm adhering my shaker onto the front, and I kind of made sure that I did this layout before I adhere everything and make sure it fit properly. So for the banner, To get it to be really dimensional, I went ahead with some of this foam tape and I just used it on the inside of the corners and making sure that you wouldn't see it as I folded it. So it was a little bit of work, but it was okay. I loved how it came out in the end, and I also hope that it inspired you with this one. So yeah, I just keep on going. And then for the back, I use some more of the foam tape just to give it a little bit more dimension. I love dimension. So I make sure that it's all pushed together and everything's adhered, and then I take off the backing and adhere that to my card. And then as soon as that's done, I have some of these little gold hearts that are from another project. So I take a foam dot on this one, but the other ones I just use some Tombow Mono, and I just add those in all over the place just to give it more of that Valentine's Day feel. So now it's time to move on to the inside of the card. So I had a scratch piece of just white paper, so I adhere that in, and then I'm going to take some more of the paper that has little chocolates on it, so cute, and I adhere that to the left side. And then I wanted to do one more of the embossing, so I used the same stamp set and the same gold, and then I just heat set that into place. And now I'm going to take my Stampin' Up, and this is the tag punch, and just punch that out. I'm going to adhere this now to the inside of the card, and I'm going to take some glue and put it on the back of that and adhere it down to place just in the right hand corner. And then I wanted to bring out my Marvy pen again, so I run around this little piece of chocolate that I just cut out very easily, and I decided I wanted to. So I cut out this one and also use that Marvy pen on here as well. And then I adhere those to the inside of the card just to give it a little more pop. So I wanted to thank you all for watching, and here I'm playing with it just to show you. I absolutely love shaker cards, and I see now they're starting to make it really big, so how awesome. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.